Welcome back to another episode of Pups Play Games. Today we're going to go over my favorite board game of all time, and by the time that this is uploaded it will be Halloween, so it's a perfect game for Halloween, and I thought I'd make this my special since I had one Christmas and that was really it. So let me go ahead and let you know that when I bought this box it was $180. Now, reason being is it's the collector's edition and it had every little expansion in it, along with some extra goodies. Now, I also bought this during the pandemic, so which kind of sucks because I haven't gotten to play any of it, and I haven't played this game in many years. And I used to play this with a group of people at a game store that used to be around. It was called Empire Games. It was out in the Gilbert Mesa area here in Arizona. It was a fun game. It's comical, it's funny, it's a great board game, and it's very easy to learn and play. So without further ado, and here it is. It's Twilight Creations Zombies. Now, when I mean this thing is big, I mean it's big, and it's got some weight to it, but then again it's got every expansion to this game that was ever released when Twilight Creations was around. Now, if I remember right, there was 15 total expansions. That includes the base set of the game. And then there was like a couple extra little packs, which I'll show you, that came with plastic pieces for ammo tokens and heart tokens, which I'll get a little more in depth in that. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bust open this box. And I've already busted open the box to look at everything. Everything was kind of like loosely put in there, and this is an old game. But I am glad I made this purchase. At the same time, it kind of hurts when I think of how much I spent on this game. But I've always wanted to buy the games, but sadly, when the company went out of business and they stopped making this game, it became harder and harder and harder to find this game again. So thankfully, I was able to find it on Amazon for $180. I know that's a huge, steep price, but when you think about it, you get extra goodies, you get every single expansion for the game, and every expansion is pretty easy, even the base set. So I'm going to go ahead, open this lid. It is 2 full levels of stuff. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. I haven't opened it since I spent over an hour going through every single one, repackaging everything to make sure nothing is loose and just flying around. So without further ado, let me go ahead and I will adjust my camera and we'll look inside this box. Without further ado, I'm not even trying to go through this. Alright. And when I talk about movie feel, the borders of the expansions all have that cool movie clip, and the Not Dead Yet Zombies 3.5 was the most recent iteration of the base set to the game, which is really cool. And now with this collector set, it comes with an extra few goodies. One, they actually have an entire soundtrack made to play this game. A whole 18 songs in total are listed on the back of the CD, which is really cool. So the most I've ever done is open it, and that was it. I went and found the soundtrack on YouTube and listened to it. I was like, I don't have a CD player just laying around. As much as I want to have one, I don't have one. So that's pretty cool. Let me set that off to the side. Now, onto the stories. Bedtime stories. what this is there is a role-playing aspect of the game. So this is basically a separate set of rules, and it's got a brand new book. There's the back of it. So that is for a separate scenario gameplay, kind of similar to D&D. It tells you specifically characters, how you start the game, what expansions you're using, combat rules, player versus player, or Martians versus zombies versus humans, which is pretty funny. And then it's got solo play, it's got, let me go back because I just saw it. It's got specific grid layout for how you play the game. Now this game is a tile-based game, which is pretty cool. So everyone per turn has to draw and a tile card. And once you draw it, you place it somewhere where it's connecting streets and whatever. Some games it's not. Some games it's up to, that's one of the expansions. Here is the main rulebook to the game in full color with the turn sequences on the back. Now it'll also give you, don't look at that. It also gives you everything, rules down to how everything works. Everything is pretty simplified and straightforward for the game. But there's the main zombies rulebook for the standard game, not the scenario one I was talking about. These are for because they were too big to sit down in here, two of the expansion rules. So I will get into that now for the actual unveiling of how much is really in here. And these are really, really, really cool. I mean, these are thick cardboard pieces that are custom designed. I'm gonna go ahead and boom. So the first iteration of the game is going to be, if I can find it. That's for that one. That's for that one, and that's for that one. Okay. So the first actual third edition, this is the base game. This is the base game. The rest, there's this top layer, and there's another layer right under this of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and put this here for now. I'm going to go over some of the basic things. Which I find quite interesting. Actually, I'm not going to use these because these are paper tokens. I'm not going to use those. Where's the basic? There it is. That's fine. Okay. Alright. So the base game is going to have these rules that you're going to have to follow, which are pretty easy. I mean, if you really want to go into detail, you can read through this whole thing, but this is pretty self-explanatory on the back. It gives you a basic rundown of every rule so you can pick it up and play pretty quickly. Games can last pretty long or very short. That really comes down to two factors. So there's two objectives to the game for the main expansion. One is, I gotta find this real quick, wherever it may be. You either draw the helicopter pad. Now, what this is this gets shuffled into the tile deck. Depending on where it gets shuffled, that can determine how long the game is going to be or how short the game is going to be. If you want a short game, you want to put it closer to the top. If you want a very long game, you put it closer to the bottom. Now, that is one of the objectives to winning the game. The other objective is, I believe, if I remember right, 20 zombies you have to kill. Okay, so again, this is one of the main objectives to the game, is either escape via helipad, or you kill 25 zombies in total. Those are the two different ways to win the game. That seems like it's very easy, but once it comes down to dice rolling, at that point, it's luck. Now, this set and many of the other expansions come with a red die and a blue die. And with that, so I'll just flip, I'll do kind of like a basic. So every game starts with town square. Now, your player, depending on the color you choose, because there's a total of 6 different colors, so you can play up to 6 different players in a game. You can play by yourself. There is a certain game mode where you can't do it. It becomes a living game. Because this was originally a living game up until about 2013, 2014. Because it had constant expansions, and you can buy packs of zombies, you can, they always had something coming out for it, so it became a living tabletop game, which is really, really cool. So, if you were to just say shuffle it somewhere into the deck, that determines how long your game's going to be. Now you'll start here, no zombies, no life tokens, no bullets. You have life tokens or heart tokens. Now, one of the things I was saying was it did come with plastic heart tokens instead of the paper punch-out life tokens. I've seen people use like the cheap little red stones that are clear that you can buy at craft stores, and bullet tokens. I've seen people use actual 22 caliber bullet shells, which is pretty cool. That's how, when I learned to play, that's what they use, is little craft storage stones and 22 caliber bullet casings. Now, but these are plastic bullets. Those are part of the expansion. Those are separate little expansion packs you could buy at the time, and they threw them into this box. Now, if you ever do decide to buy this box, you will always have more of the paper tokens than the plastic cool ones. And don't worry, the one thing they do have, if you don't have enough of these plastic zombies, if you're playing with all 6 people and you're playing the longest game of zombies ever, they come with paper tokens to mark for zombies as well. I don't like using those. I prefer having the physical model or the physical token. Okay, so back to the matter is, say, we're starting here, center of town square. You go draw, and you get the sporting goods store. So you would place it where it lines up with the street and go from there. Now, with this, it does have 6 zombies, 2 life, and 4 bullets in this area. And you get to choose, but they have to be within the building or here, here, here. So, and you get to choose that, which is really cool. And if you were to random next person turn, get this out the way, draw a street corner. Now, there's 3 zombies, 1 life, and 1 bullet, and this is the toy store. I'm gonna just go ahead and move these out of the way for now. And then so forth and so forth. Each person would play a card all the way up until someone draws the helicopter pad. once the helicopter pad is drawn, the end of the game is basically revealed. So depending on where you put it in your deck, once the helicopter pad is placed onto the table, you no longer draw cards from this deck, because the objective has been revealed to everyone, depending on how small. Like this would be kind of like a demonstration type thing if I were to show or teach someone how to play, such as like if I, before that card, I draw straight, no zombies, no life, it's just a straight street. Now, every turn, zombies get to move. After your turn is done, you roll the red die, and that'll tell you how many zombies you can move. Now, zombies can only move one space, but there is an exception to one expansion. And that's a whole different thing. So in this case, also, regular zombies cannot move from here to here. They have to go in a straight line through the pattern. Now, if you die, you start back here at square one, or at town square, with 3 bullets and 3 life tokens. What those are for? So a life token can give you a reroll. So if you're fighting a zombie, and every time you land on a space that has a zombie and you share a space, you so red would be for life, and the blue is for bullets. Say you roll a 1, you pay a life token, you get a chance to reroll. Well, at that point, pay another one. And if you go to pay another one, you die, but you killed the zombie at the same time. Now, if you die with after you've killed a number of zombies, what happens is if you die in the game as well, is you lose half of those. So now you're back down however many you had, half, divided by 2. Now, say you roll a 3 on the red die, because usually you start off with the red die. If you roll a 3 and you don't want to, if you have like 1 heart token left and you want to spend a bullet, you don't have to roll that die. You spend a bullet, it gives you an additional, so it turns this 3 into a 4, and you'd be beating a zombie. Now, a zombie is winning if it's going 1 through 3. If you roll 1 through 3, the zombie is beating you. If you roll over that, you're winning, and you're beating the zombie. Again, there's an exception to that for a different expansion where it's a lot harder. So with that kind of hopefully makes sense. Now, there are cards as well. For most of the expansions, there's a deck of cards. Just because these are, I had to put them in a Ziploc baggie. There's key cards, there's cards that are gonna help you or screw everyone else over, kind of like Uno in a way, but in zombies, and they're kind of grotesque. I don't know if I can really show it. I mean, the art is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but some of it I kind of don't know if I'm able to show. But there's cards that'll help you or screw someone else over. So there's lots of that, which is really cool. But this is the base set. When they sold the original base set, it came with a bag of zombies, or as they like to call it, a bag of zombies. 6 players, tile cards, deck of cards, 2 dice, and some regular paper. And this is a combination of all the expansion that came with paper, hearts, and paper bullets. So that is that for that set. Now I will go ahead and pull out another one. I'm going to try to go over as much as I can. Mainly my favorite sets that I've played. Some of these I have not played. I have known people that have made a big game out of every expansion in this box. I've seen someone make an entire big game, and they made it so that there were 4 town squares, and there was a lot of players, and it was pretty cool. Very long game. I got to watch that. I didn't get to partake, sadly, as much as I would love to. But let me go ahead and place these away. Wherever my dice bag go. Now, some of these boxes will come with more dice, more blue and red dice. So there is that, which is good. You could also use just regular 6-sided dice. I mean, this one just came with color code. When they made this game, of course, they came with color coded so that it was a little easier for newer players to understand. So it's thankfully not that bad. So go ahead and take care of all this, and we'll continue going from there. All right. That's the base set of the game. These gotta go. I'll just place them here for now. Which one's this? A Walk in the Park. Oh, this is Zombie Core. Okay, so this is the second expansion. I didn't really play the second expansion much. One I have played quite a bit was Mall Walkers, which this is basically which is the same concept as the base game. Was instead of city streets, you have a mall. Now you can mix these two together and make a bigger game, which is pretty common. And then little paper rule book. Everything is self-explanatory as well. Zombie Core had glow-in-the-dark zombies, or radioactive zombies in this case, and they were military. So this was all a military base for Zombie Core. One of the more interesting ones, which they thought was the end of the game, but obviously not if they created up to 15 expansions, is The End, number 4. Now, number 4 is a mix of, it had the kind of theme of 2 different horror movies. One of them was Pet Sematary, and I believe the second one was The Conjuring, or The Cabin in the Woods. And this also has the Necronomicon, and here's 2 more dice. The zombies in this one, because there are no street tiles in this set, and I'll just give you a brief look at the street. There are no streets at all in this set. It's entirely just forest. And the major objective of the game, there is one, it's the cabin. Now, you cannot, there is no max limit of zombie dogs. And thankfully, one of my good friends gave me a box, an original The End 4 box. So technically I have twice the many of zombie dogs, because per tile, whenever you draw a tile, you roll a dice. Depending on the number that you land on is the number of dogs that spawn on that tile, unless other specified to the card. And like I didn't explain in the first set, 1 zombie per space. In this case, zombie dogs spawn in, they can spawn 2 in a square, and they can run up to I do believe, if I remember right, they can run 2 spaces other than a 1 at a time. And again, you roll a die and they move. You pick how many move. So there is that, and the character pieces are actually different color in this set, which is the first time they did that. And then they went back to the original. But these zombie dogs, I wish I grabbed the other set to show you. trying to get this as close as possible. You can kind of see them in there. They're kind of grotesque looking, but it's still cool. And the coolest part is you get to collect the pages of the Necronomicon, which in the end of that expansion is, depending on how many, it kind of work like bullets, where you can add on bullets to add on to your dice roll. That's the same thing once you get to the cabin, and you have to clear the entire tile out of zombie dogs before you can perform the ritual for the Necronomicon. And depending on how many pages you draw throughout the game, because they are in the main deck, is either going to benefit you or you're going to hurt you, depending on what those cards do. Now, if you're able to have 3 cards or 4 cards, or in this case, if you get 6 cards or 6 pages of the Necronomicon, you're going to just win as soon as you clear out the cabin. But that's if you clear out the cabin, because the zombie dogs in this, instead of rolling a 4 or better, you have to roll a 5 or better to kill one dog. So if it's a 1 through 4, they're beating you, and that's not good. So you kind of have to work quick to get through this, and make sure you still have a bunch of bullet tokens, mainly a bunch of bullet tokens, and heart tokens. Now, heart tokens you only can collect up to 5. Bullet tokens were never really specified, because there are so many that you can just keep picking them up, because it's just ammo. And who doesn't like having ammo in a game? So there's that. I mean, there's even one for like School's Out Forever. That's literally box number 5 with School's Out Forever. So it takes place in school. 6 feet under, I believe that's a graveyard. I believe that's a graveyard. No, it's city streets and subways, and deals with sewers. So there's sewer drain caps. There's another one with Send In the Clowns. Man, that's a carnival. There's one in a jail. That one doesn't have any zombies, but then you would just pull from this bag right here. Or the clowns, it doesn't really matter. It's just it's a pretty small expansion, to say the least. And so, let me go ahead and take care of this, because this is a pain in the butt to try to do. Oh my gosh. I do not want to spill any of this, because it's a pain to reorganize everything. So here's another bag of zombies. This is literally just a bag of zombies. That goes into expansion 13. There's Ashes to Ashes, which came with Ashes to Ashes. I'm sorry. Ashes to Ashes came with irradiated zombies, and that's why they're neon green, because it took place in a I want to say near or at a power plant. Feeling our zombies at 10, feeling the addiction. That's back in the city streets, and that's just got some added cards to go with that, and extra tile cards. So that was the entire set for that one. Zombies 11, Death Incorporated. This one, it takes place inside of a office building, so that was pretty cool. Came with the zombie CEO, which you had to fight other and survivors, and you got new cards, and it all takes place inside of an office building. Zombies 12. This one came. Oh, this was Zombie Zoo, so this came with zombie animals. So you got like lions, monkeys, gorillas, bears, hyenas. So you're literally going through an entire zoo. with that one, which is pretty cool. I haven't played that one. As 13, I already explained, was DEFCON Z. This one's also in a military base with hazmat tokens. Number 14, Space Bites. That's kind of self-explanatory. It does come with small dice, small blue dice. This one takes place on a space station. This one takes place in a desert. Yeah. Desert, and there's water tokens, then the rules will go over that. And then 3.5, 6.66 bullets and hearts. That's bullets and hearts is where those plastic bullets and hearts that I showed you guys, that came with that set. Or this is like literally the box of all the extra little expansions. So like the role-playing one, there's cards for the role-playing one that includes character cards, action cards, experience cards. It even came with zombie bingo. Or you can create custom tiles and custom cards, which is pretty cool. So I just kind of keep all these in one, all together in one tray. Yeah, so honestly, this is one of the best games I have ever bought. And I'm pretty damn happy with my $180 purchase. Again, you guys can find that on Amazon. I will make sure that I put a link to that down in the description, because I just to this day show that it's still available. I really love this. This is one of the best things, and I've been wanting to review this so much sooner. I wanted to review this with you guys like immediately after I got it, but I was like, you know, it's getting closer to Halloween. I'm gonna just wait till it's Halloween time, make the video, post it on Halloween, which is when you guys will see this, is on Halloween. And so with that, I definitely recommend this game for anyone that likes to have a group of people over to play games. This is a great game night game. It can go by quick, go by really long. It's a party game. It's a good pickup game, especially if you're only grabbing the regular 3rd edition, which they do sell as well, and I'll make sure I post that up, a link to that to the Amazon, for the regular 3.5 edition. Now, I don't think it'll come with a bag of zombies. I will double check as well, but if you don't see a link to the 3.5, that is probably why. It'll probably come with the paper token zombies, which I mean is okay, but honestly, if you're gonna play with zombie tokens, I'd rather have these over little paper towels that look like this and have little zombies on them. The bullets, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time punching these guys out, and honestly, if you decide to buy the $180 box, spend the time, punch all of them out, put them in a sandwich bag, and forget about it. Just haven't done. Now, when you open your box, it might be a mess. Like, when I opened my box with all my stuff, the wrappings for like cards and game tiles were just like, they were so bad that they had just like fallen apart, and cards were everywhere in this box. So I had to spend a lot more time sorting out which cards go to which set. And some stuff was in different boxes, or nothing was in order, so I had to rearrange everything in order for everything. That took over an hour to 2 hours to do, so that's the one thing that sucks. That's something I do recommend spending the time in, is doing that, like taking the time, putting everything in like sandwich bags, you know, just so that you don't have a bunch of these just like laying around for no reason. It's just, it stays nice and clean. It stays, or like when I organize, you know, I haven't opened these because I haven't played the game, but I mean, deck cards go there, tile cards go there. Now the dice will have its own little Ziploc baggie, so that's nice. So just spend the time doing that. I mean, yes, it's $180. I think I got it 4 or 5 days after ordering on Amazon, and that included Prime. So of course, free shipping. So I mean, if you guys have Prime, that's a bonus. You get free shipping, and I think it comes within like 3 to 4 days, depending on where you live. It took 3 to 4 days for me, because I think where it's shipped from, I think it's shipped from California, or they already had it in a warehouse here in Arizona. So, I mean, everything was still factory sealed from when they made this game. So there's no way someone could have gotten in and just messed with a bunch of stuff, because it was still cellophane wrapped when I got it. Of course, I opened it, but yeah. So, but literally 2 rows of, oh boy, this is not good. There we go. That was just sheer luck. I'll just set it over here for now. And that, guys, is my absolute review of the Zombies tabletop board game with the CD. I cannot forget that CD, because some of the songs on there are actually really cool. And they actually had a band create that. It was by Midnight Syndicate. They actually made that album. So with that, if I can get this thing closed, forget the sound of the air escaping the lungs. So with that, that is my Halloween special for this wonderful game. I hope once everything clears up for COVID, and again, this is a collector's box, and I really love this box. I love the game, and of course I had to have the collector's edition for myself. I couldn't pass it up. I was like, I have to get it. I really want it. It's been a game that I haven't played in many years. I need it. I want it. Done. I originally saw a copy of this exact box at Game Depot, which I mean I do mention quite often, and I love their shop very much. It's family owned by a husband and wife, and they're just absolutely amazing people. Every time we go in there, you can strike up a conversation and end up spending more time in there talking with the owners, because they're that nice and they're that welcoming towards their players and their customer base. People come back because everyone loves them, because they know how to treat people well. They don't just look at a person walking in and think it's money. Now, I did at one point see one of these boxes sitting inside the game store at Game Depot. Unfortunately, they had when I went to go buy it, after I knew they had it, it was gone. So someone had already snagged one, the last one up, which kind of left me to hunt one of these down online, and thankfully I found one on Amazon. I told them, I was like, hey, I found this on Amazon. But they were more than happy to try to help me find one of these, because they knew I really wanted one. So I thank them very much. They're wonderful people. I don't know what else to say. It's just it's a wonderful game. It's a fun, quick game. It's got a cool vibe to it. It's not super grotesque. It's got some grotesque artwork in it, but it's not too bad. But if you're a zombie game fan and you're looking for like one of the perfect zombie type board games, pick this up. This is for you. There are several other zombie board games out there, but if you're looking for something that you're gonna have host game nights with, this is it. this is the one, because you'll have different types of games. You'll have different expansions to play with and mix and match expansions, which is really fun. So you can have different rule sets going on at the same time. I think the max that I've played up to as far as added expansions to the base set was one. Let's see. I want to say 4 or 5 at a time, which is pretty ridiculous because that's already a big game, because that's adding in all the game tiles, the cards, and everything else. But that's honestly it. I do thank you guys for tuning in to Pups Play Games, and for any of the new subscribers that are subscribing to the channel, welcome. I have noticed that some people have started subscribing. I appreciate you guys, and just to let you know, this is the kind of stuff I do. I'll do a little bit of video game stuff. I do a little bit of this. Mainly this channel is going to be towards tabletop games, card games, such as like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, eventually Pokemon. We'll get into that. We'll do some deck reviews. Yu-Gi-Oh! We'll do that. But right now, this was my major thing I wanted to show. I really wanted to show this because I don't think many people have this set just sitting around at their house. So this is my little collector's edition I have laying around. With that being said, I know with the current pandemic, it's been very hectic. So I haven't been able to have the chance to play this game with anyone else yet. I know people that want to, but they're, of course, like everyone, really worried about the health situation. So hopefully once everything clears up and everything starts to go back to normal, I can at least bust this out with some friends and play this. So, which at some point I'll get a game review, or an actual basically what I would like to say, like a battle report or a game report, where it's just gameplay of this. So, which will be really fun. So that's really it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe and healthy if you decide to go out on Halloween. We don't want anything bad happening to you. Have a good one. Bye.